Welcome to the Dread Archive. Tonight we open a file on a cold case from the quiet, forgotten parts of rural America. A place where the past isn't just history, it's a living curse. This is the story of a town called Oak Haven, and the chilling truth that some memories are better left undisturbed. Subscribe and listen closely. The setup, the researcher. My name is Elias Vance. I'm a local historian, though most people just call me an eccentric collector of old forgotten things. My fascination began with an old, unmarked graveyard on the outskirts of Oak Haven. It wasn't the kind of graveyard that had been forgotten, it was the kind that had been deliberately erased. There were stones, yes, but they were blank, smooth, grey slabs with no names, no dates, just stone. I started digging through Oak Haven's official records. That's when I found the first anomaly. From 1888 to 1895, all birth and death records were pristine. But in 1896, the year of the town's founding, there was a 7-month gap in the ledger. 0 births, 0 deaths, just blank yellowed pages. The period simply did not exist in the town's history. I asked the town elder, Mrs. Albright. She was 90, sharp, and had lived there her entire life. She gave me a blank stare. The founding year? Nothing happened that year, dear. It was just a long winter. The discovery, the secret. I couldn't shake the feeling. I went back to the old nameless graveyard. I started cleaning one of the oldest stones, scrubbing away moss and decades of dirt. And then, I found it. Not a name, but a symbol. It was a jagged circle with a single line drawn through it, like a sun with a broken ray. I showed the symbol to everyone in town, the librarian, the local priest, the mechanic. They all claimed they had never seen it before. But every time I showed it, they would nervously touch their necks or quickly look away. One night, I was reviewing the original town map from 1895. The map showed a small schoolhouse near the graveyard. The current map showed a pine forest there. I drove out at 3 a.m. The forest was dense and silent. I found the exact location where the schoolhouse should have been. There was nothing but the sound of the wind and a patch of ground where nothing seemed to grow. I started to dig. The horror, the whispers. After an hour, my shovel hit something soft. It wasn't wood. It was fabric. I uncovered what looked like a tattered canvas bag. Inside, there were small hand-stitched wooden dolls, the kind a child would play with. Each doll had the jagged circle symbol burned into its chest. But the real horror wasn't the dolls. It was the sound. As soon as I held them, I heard it, a faint, continuous whispering in the air around me. It was too soft to make out words, but it felt like dozens of confused voices, all saying the same thing. Asterisk. Where is my name? I looked up. The moon was high. And standing between the pine trees, just at the edge of my headlight beam, were figures. They were hazy, indistinct, but they were the height of small children. They didn't move. They just stood there, their pale shapes staring at the light, their presence amplifying the soft, desperate whispers. I dropped the bag and scrambled back into my car. The revelation, the curse. I left Oak Haven that same night. But the pieces of the puzzle clicked into place as I sped down the highway. The nameless gravestones. The missing 7 months in the town ledger. The children's dolls. In 1896, something terrible happened in that schoolhouse. Maybe a sickness. Maybe a fire. Something that killed every child in town. The town founders, desperate to forget the horror, didn't just bury the dead, they buried their very existence. They removed their names from the stones, tore the pages from the ledger, and planted a pine forest over the site. They believed that by forgetting the names, they would forget the grief. But the dead never left. They were trapped, not as ghosts seeking revenge, but as confused, nameless entities who cannot pass on until their names are spoken. And every resident of Oak Haven over generations inherited the curse. A collective, enforced amnesia about a terrible tragedy they are unconsciously guarding. They are the keepers of the forgotten, closing and call to action. I still have the dolls. The faint whispers haven't stopped. I haven't gone back. But sometimes, when I look at the dark, empty forest on the old map, I wonder what would happen if I were to read the names of those children, if I could just find them somewhere and finally set the Dread Archive free. What secret memories are lurking beneath your own town? Let us know in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the Dread Archive for more untold tales of terror. Good night, if you can manage it.